First contact and miscalculation. The great chamber of the Volteri High Council fell silent as Elder Kraft's hologram flickered to life. His scaled skin, once vibrant emerald, had faded to a pale jade with age. The 7 crests atop his elongated head, markers of his centuries of wisdom, gleamed under the chamber's crystalline lights. You stand at the precipice of catastrophe. Elder Kraft's voice rumbled through the chamber. I have studied the data from our probes. This species, these humans, they are unlike any we have encountered in our 12,000 cycles of expansion. High Commander Velek snorted, the sound amplified by her ceremonial armor. With respect, Elder Kraft, your age has made you cautious to the point of paranoia. Our scans show their technology is primitive. Their vessels barely achieve light speed. Their weapons are crude. She gestured to the tactical display showing Earth and its meager defenses. They are fractured, divided among themselves. Where is the threat? The 50 members of the High Council murmured in agreement. The Volteri Confederation had subjugated 18 species across 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. What threat could one more pose? Elder Kraft's eyes, 4 obsidian orbs that had witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations, narrowed. You mistake technological advancement for strength, Valex. The humans lack our millennia of progress, yes. But they possess something far more dangerous. Adaptability born of chaos. Adaptability. Council member Zirax scoffed. Their biology is unremarkable. Soft-skinned, no natural defenses, weak musculature compared to the Graph or the Xilians. And yet, Elder Kraft continued, unperturbed, they have survived extinction-level events 6 times in their brief history. They wage war against themselves with a ferocity that would make the Karneks pause. They create art in the midst of suffering. They hope when hope is illogical. He leaned forward, his hologram wavering. Leave them alone. Quarantine their system. Let them evolve or destroy themselves without our interference. High Commander Velex rose, her towering frame casting shadows across the chamber floor. The mineral wealth of their system cannot be ignored. The Council has already voted. First contact proceeds in 3 cycles. The humans will be given the standard offer. Submission in exchange for technological advancement. Refusal means subjugation. She smiled, revealing rows of serrated teeth. They will choose wisely. Elder Kraft's hologram flickered as he shook his head. Then you doom us all. The transmission ended, leaving the chamber in silence. A silence soon filled with the confident planning of conquest. The first contact went exactly as the Volteri tactical simulations predicted, which is to say, disastrously. The humans, presented with the choice between peaceful submission and total war, chose neither. Instead, they stalled, negotiated, questioned the terms, demanded clarifications, and requested time to consult among their various nation-states. Primitive diplomatic tactics, High Commander Velex reported to the Council. They seek to delay while they prepare defenses. We must demonstrate our power. The demonstration came in the form of the complete destruction of a small orbital station the humans called Luna Base Alpha. 812 human lives extinguished in a flash of Volteri plasma cannons. The response was immediate and unexpected. Instead of capitulation, Earth unified overnight. Ancient enemies became allies. Resources were pooled. The human information networks buzzed with a single message, repeated in thousands of languages. Remember Luna. Still, the Volteri remained confident. Their warships established orbital positions around Earth. Their demands were simple: immediate surrender or systematic destruction of major population centers. The humans' answer came in the form of a seemingly suicidal attack. Thousands of small craft, many little more than atmospheric vehicles hastily modified for space, swarmed the Volteri fleet. They were obliterated by the thousands, but some got through. High Commander Velex watched in disbelief as 3 of her capital ships reported breaches. How? She demanded. Their weapons cannot penetrate our shields. The answer came from the tactical officer, his voice shaking. They didn't use weapons, Commander. They used their craft themselves. Kinetic impacts at maximum velocity. And those that boarded. He paused, mandibles clicking nervously. The boarding parties are fighting with unexpected effectiveness. They're using our environmental systems against us, venting atmospheres, overriding gravity controls. Velix snarled. Primitive tactics. Dispatch the drone warriors. Eliminate all resistance. But the humans had studied the drones during the first wave and discovered a critical weakness. Their networked intelligence could be disrupted by targeted electromagnetic pulses. Human soldiers, fighting independently rather than as a hive mind, adapted faster than the Volderi combat algorithms could predict. By the end of the first day of actual combat, the Volderi had still prevailed, but at a cost no simulation had predicted. 7 capital ships lost. Nearly 30,000 drone warriors destroyed. And worst of all, humans had captured intact Volderi technology. High Commander Velix stood before the council, her armor scorched from a battle she had never expected to personally join. The initial resistance was greater than anticipated, but we have established control over their major population centers. The humans fight fiercely, but without coordination. Victory is assured, merely delayed. From the back of the chamber, a voice spoke. Elder Krath, attending in person now, his ancient frame supported by a levitation harness. You still do not understand what you face, Commander. Tell the Council what your scouts report from the human territories you thought secured yesterday. Velix's 4 eyes blinked in the Volderi expression of discomfort. Minor insurgencies, nothing significant. The truth, Commander, Elder Krath insisted. After a long pause, Velix spoke. 3 outposts overrun. 2,000 drone warriors destroyed. Human resistance is organizing faster than predicted. They are already employing modified versions of weapons salvaged from our fallen. Murmurs rippled through the council chamber. And, Elder Krath pressed, what of the human communication systems you thought neutralized? Velix's scales flushed deep crimson, the Volderi sign of embarrassment. They have established new networks, underground, using technologies we considered too primitive to monitor. They are sharing information, tactics, weaknesses in our systems. Elder Krath turned to the council, his voice stronger than it had been in decades. Do you see now? The humans do not fight as we do, with precision, with hierarchy, with predictable patterns. They are chaos embodied. Every defeat teaches them. Every loss fuels them. I warned you. They are adaptable beyond any species we have encountered. Council member Zirax leaned forward. What would you have us do, Elder? Retreat? The Volderi Confederation has never retreated in its history. Elder Krath's ancient eyes swept the chamber. History changes today. Withdraw. Offer genuine peace, not subjugation disguised as benevolence. Because if you continue this war, he paused, his voice dropping to a whisper that somehow filled the vast chamber. You will watch our confederation burn. High Commander Velix slammed her armored fist on the central dais. Outrageous. We outnumber them. We outgun them. Our technology is centuries beyond theirs. And yet, Elder Krath replied calmly, your ships burn in their orbit. Your drone warriors fall to their improvised weapons. Already they reverse engineer our technology, not over decades but days. He pointed a gnarled finger at the tactical display showing Earth. That is not their weakness, you see, Commander. It is their crucible. They have spent their history fighting themselves, their environment, their own biology. They have evolved not in the comfort of technological superiority, but in the ruthless laboratory of constant struggle. The chamber fell silent. Then, a proximity alarm shattered the quiet. The tactical display shifted, showing a massive human fleet approaching Volderi's forward base in a neighboring system, a fleet that hadn't existed a week ago. Impossible, Velix whispered. Our intelligence indicated they had no vessels capable of. Of what, Commander? Elder Krath asked softly. of adapting our drive technology, of learning from every encounter, of sacrificing comfort for survival. He turned to the stunned council. You have awakened something ancient and terrible. The humans do not wage war as we do. For them, it is not about conquest or resources. You killed their people. You threatened their home. His voice dropped again. Now they will never stop. As if confirming his words, the tactical display bloomed with light as the human fleet engaged the Volderi defenses. Signals from the forward base deteriorated, then ceased entirely. In the silence that followed, Elder Krath spoke one final time. I warned you. No one listened. And now we pay the price. The Reckoning. 17 days after the destruction of Luna Base Alpha, the Volderi Confederation faced an unprecedented crisis. Their forward operating bases had fallen one by one. Their communication network was compromised. Most disturbing of all, human vessels now employed modified versions of Volderi technology. Cruder, less efficient, but devastating in their unexpected configurations. The High Council chamber, once a place of ordered debate, had devolved into chaos. They've adapted our shield frequencies. 3 more colony worlds have reported human incursions. The Tzillians are refusing to honor our defense pact. They say they won't fight against the humans. High Commander Velix, her once pristine armor now permanently scarred from multiple battles, roared for silence. We still maintain superior numbers and firepower. The humans advance quickly, yes, but without strategic coherence. Their attacks appear random, scattered across our territories without clear objectives. Elder Krath, now a permanent presence in the council sessions, laughed, a sound so rare from a Volderi that it shocked the chamber into silence. Random, scattered. The ancient Volderi shook his head. You still don't see it. Look at the pattern, Commander. Not at each individual attack, but at the whole. With trembling fingers, he manipulated the tactical display. The scattered points of human incursion suddenly connected, forming a distinct pattern across Volderi space. They're not attacking your military strongholds, Elder Krath explained. They're attacking your supply lines, your communication relays, your drone production facilities. His 4 black eyes fixed on Velix. They studied you. They found the critical infrastructure that your military depends upon, and they're systematically dismantling it. Council member Zurax, usually the most composed of the leadership, clicked his mandibles anxiously. But how? How could they understand our logistical system so quickly? Because, came a new voice, they think like us. All eyes turned to the entrance of the chamber, where a figure stood, smaller than any Volderi, bipedal, with a soft exterior covering of fabric rather than the natural armor of scales. A human. Guards immediately raised weapons, but Elder Krath's voice cracked like thunder. Hold. The human stepped forward, unarmed, into the center of the Volderi High Council. My name is Admiral Helena Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. I come under diplomatic protocol, the same one your people ignored when you destroyed Luna Base. High Commander Velix hissed, her scales flushing with rage. How dare you infiltrate our most sacred? Your security, Admiral Chen interrupted calmly, was designed to detect weapons and explosives. I brought neither. She turned slowly, addressing the entire council. I came to offer you one chance, one opportunity to end this before it goes too far. Too far. Velix snarled. You attack our worlds, steal our technology, disrupt our networks, and speak of too far. Admiral Chen's expression remained impassive. You destroyed Luna Base without warning. 812 souls. Scientists, engineers, families. For the first time, emotion crept into her voice. My sister was among them. She composed herself quickly. But I'm not here for revenge. I'm here because some of us still believe this can end without the extinction of either of our species. A murmur ran through the council. Extinction. Council member Zurax scoffed. Your species is in no position to threaten the Volderi with extinction. We have dominated this sector for 12,000 years. Admiral Chen nodded. Yes, and in 17 days, we've pushed you back to your core systems. Your allies are abandoning you. The Tsilians, the Grath, even the Karneks have declared neutrality. She pointed to the tactical display. You're alone now. Elder Kraft manipulated the display controls, confirming her words. The traditional allies of the Volderi had indeed severed their military connections. How? Velix demanded. How did you turn them against us so quickly? We didn't, Chen replied. You did. Your conquered allies have watched you subjugate worlds for millennia. They've waited for a chance to break free. We simply showed them it was possible. She allowed herself a small smile. And we offered genuine alliance, not the subjugation you call peaceful submission. Elder Kraft's ancient voice cut through the tension. What are your terms, human? Admiral Chen turned to face him. Immediate withdrawal from Earth and all human colonies, return of all human prisoners, reparations for Luna Base and other civilian casualties, a non-aggression pact to be enforced by a coalition, including both our peoples and the former subject species of your confederation. High Commander Velix laughed, a harsh sound. You dictate terms as if you've already won. Our homeworld remains untouched. Our fleet still vastly outnumbers yours. And our technology. Your technology is being reverse-engineered and improved upon by the combined scientific might of humanity and your former subjects. Chen interrupted. Your fleet numbers are irrelevant when your supply lines are cut. And as for your homeworld, she paused, meeting Velix's four-eyed glare with her own steady gaze. Look up. As if on cue, a proximity alarm blared. The tactical display shifted to show Volderi's orbit, where a massive human fleet had suddenly appeared. Impossible, Velix gasped. Our deep space sensors would have detected our ships if they used conventional drive signatures. Chen completed her sentence. We've been reconfiguring them, testing new theories. Your sensor network was calibrated for known propulsion systems. We developed something new. The council chamber erupted into chaos again. Demands for immediate military response, calls for evacuation, accusations of betrayal. Elder Kraft silenced them with a thunderous command. Enough. The ancient Volderi turned to Admiral Chen. You could have attacked without warning, as we did to your Luna base. Why come here first? Why offer terms at all? Chen's expression softened slightly. Because unlike you, we don't want to dominate. We don't seek to rule. We just want to exist, to explore, to learn, to grow. War distracts from that purpose. She glanced around the chamber. And because some of us believe that vengeance is a cycle that must be broken, not perpetuated. For a long moment, silence reigned in the chamber. Then, with obvious reluctance, Elder Kraft turned to the council. I have warned from the beginning that this species is unlike any we have encountered. Now they stand in our most sacred chamber, their fleet above our homeworld, offering us peace when they could demand our extinction. His ancient eyes swept the room. I move that we accept their terms. High Commander Velix stepped forward, rage evident in every line of her posture. This is cowardice. Surrender to a species that barely crawled into space a century ago. I will not. You will. Elder Kraft cut her off, his voice suddenly carrying the full weight of his centuries. Because the alternative is the end of everything our people have built for 12,000 years. He turned to Admiral Chen. There is a question I must ask, human. If we refuse your terms, what then? Chen's expression remained neutral, but her eyes hardened. Then I walk out of this chamber, return to my ship, and give an order I don't want to give. Your orbital defenses fall. Your cities burn. Your people die. She shook her head slowly. And humanity carries that weight forever, the knowledge that we committed the same atrocity that was committed against us. She took a step closer to Elder Kraft. Please, don't make us become what we're fighting against. The council chamber fell silent once more. Then, slowly, Elder Kraft reached out a gnarled hand. Admiral Chen took it, the first peaceful contact between human and Volderi. "We accept your terms," the ancient Volderi said, "and perhaps in time we may learn from each other rather than destroy each other." High Commander Velek stormed from the chamber, followed by several council members. But the majority remained, watching in stunned silence as the shape of their galaxy transformed before them. Later, as Admiral Chen prepared to return to her ship, Elder Krath approached her privately. "There is something I must know," he said quietly. "Your fleet above our world, could it really have destroyed us?" Chen met his four-eyed gaze steadily. "No, we had the numbers, but not the firepower. Not yet. Another month, perhaps," she shrugged. "But you didn't know that." Elder Krath's mandibles clicked in the Volderi expression of surprised respect. "A bluff. Masterfully executed." "Sometimes," Chen replied, "the appearance of strength is enough, if your opponent has reason to believe it." The ancient Volderi contemplated this. "I warned them about your kind, that you were adaptable, unpredictable, dangerous. But perhaps I missed something important." "What's that?" "That the same qualities that make you terrible enemies might also make you valuable allies." Elder Krath's scales shifted in the Volderi equivalent of a smile. "I find myself curious to discover which path our future holds." Admiral Chen returned the smile. "That's the most human thing I've heard a Volderi say." As she departed, the message that spread across human networks and newly freed worlds wasn't "Remember Luna" anymore. It was something else entirely. "Remember to be better than those who wrong you." The age of Volderi dominance had ended. What would replace it remained to be written, not by conquest, but by cooperation. And standing at the center of this new galactic order were the humans, not unstoppable in their vengeance as the Volderi had feared, but unstoppable in their capacity to forge a different path when given the chance. Elder Krath had warned the Council about humanity's danger. No one had listened. But perhaps, he reflected as he watched the human fleet reposition from attack formation to honor guard, that had been the universe's plan all along.